We ran into Brian Seagraves here in Memphis recently. He's the Chief Innovation Officer for Ministry Brands. He's going to talk to us today about his philosophy and a brief glimpse into the future of ministry software. Brian, thanks for joining us today. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about your background, how you got interested in ministry software, and how you ended up here at Ministry Brands.
I grew up going to church, and I also grew up being interested in technology. And I wanted to find a way to bring those together. And so I've worked in church software or ministry-based software for about 12 or 13 years now. I've worked with Bible study applications and more recently church management. And really wanted to find a way to bring those two things together to help the church. I joined Ministry Brands in 2014 through an acquisition, and it's been a great but fast-paced ride since then.
Could you tell us about one of the classes you taught this year at the conference, and did anything happen interesting during the class time?
So I taught 2 classes this year at ISC. Both were on what's new and what's coming in Shelby Next membership. And that's always a fun time to look back on the last year and kind of celebrate what the teams have done. And then to show churches who may not know what they now have at their fingertips. The thing that's most encouraging to me about ISC and my classes in particular is how when someone has a question that maybe even I can't answer, another church, another administrator is able to turn to that person and say, here's how we did that, here's how we worked through that. And so the collegial aspect and atmosphere at ISC is always very encouraging.
Brian, you've been with Ministry Brands for a while now. Can you share with us your philosophy about ministry software?
So we were very intentional in how we developed Shelby Next membership. We wanted it to be broadly accessible. And that might look like the location that it's being used in. Ministry happens all over the place, in hospital rooms, in cars on the way to coffee shops, in coffee shops, at the church office. So we wanted to make something that could be used while on the go or at the church. We also wanted it to be able to be accessed by many people. So some churches that have adopted Shelby Next have gone from 2 or 3 people having access to their church management system to 200. And it really allows more people to be involved in the process of ministry. But if you're going to do that, it needs to be easy to use. You can't expect 200 volunteers to come and get a day's worth of training. So we wanted to make something that was easy to discover as someone started using the system. And the last point that was important to us is that we support where churches are and build for where technology and ministry is going. We can't build for where things are at today or we'll be late. But we also don't want to just run so far ahead that we're leaving people behind.
If you don't mind looking down the road just a little bit, I was wondering if you could tell us where you see Ministry Brand software maybe in the next 5 to 10 years.
The what's coming question is always an interesting one to answer, but we have heard from customers and our roadmap is very customer driven. And we need to address reports and reporting in general. How can we make that more powerful and robust, but still keeping our core philosophical ideas for Shelby Next membership? It needs to be easy to use and broadly accessible. So we'll be improving reporting. We've also got some check-in improvements coming to make that even faster and more efficient. Sunday crunch time is a very important time when parents are checking in their children, and if you have multiple services, you know that that's only compounding the issue. And so we're taking that seriously, and we're going to be making that even faster and more streamlined for your members, but also for your first-time attenders.
Brian, as we conclude, could you take just a moment and talk about the relationship between Ministry Brands and Shelby Systems?
So Shelby Systems is part of the Ministry Brands family of church and ministry-focused technologies. And Ministry Brands is just a collection of companies that aims to make helpful software for ministries and the people they serve. We're serving faith-based customers, and those are important customers to us, and that market is important to us. And Shelby has some of the best leading software in the industry for churches. And so they're a great fit in terms of the Ministry Brands ecosystem. But Shelby customers are able to benefit from being a part of that ecosystem. We're able to make things easier for them, like integration with different online giving platforms or messaging or websites. We're able to bring those things together and really start to realize the vision of helping the church through the idea that started off as Ministry Brands.
If you would like to learn more about the ministry of Brian Seagraves, you can visit his website, brianseagraves.com. We are indeed fortunate to have a talented and dedicated young man like Brian working for Ministry Brands, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more from him in the future.